Welcome to our next guest, Mr. Lloyd Scott MBE, I believe.
Yes, MBE, yes.
And MBE stands for?
Mad, bonkers and eccentric.
That's exactly the man you are as well, isn't it?
So, best known to our listeners probably as the man that completed the London Marathon in a deep-sea diver's outfit. Tell us the story behind that and how you came up with the idea.
Well, before then, I'd kind of undertaken a number of different sort of expeditions: North Pole, South Pole, Everest Marathon.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I run through Death Valley, the hottest place, and so I just basically applied my extreme way of thinking to the London Marathon. I saw the Divinos running every year, and it just crossed my mind, well, what's the worst possible thing that somebody could probably go around the marathon in? And I came up with the idea of a deep-sea diver suit, and I don't think I was wrong, actually.
I should probably give the listeners a list of your charity stuff.
You should.
Now, I think you survived leukemia, didn't you, which sort of got you on the road to charity fundraising?
Yeah, I've done some stuff before, but that was really that brought it to the forefront of my sort of motivation. Yeah, absolutely.
So April 1989, the London Marathon, just 3 weeks before your life-saving bone marrow transplant. April 1990, the London Marathon, before a year after having just approved there is life after leukemia. October 92, the Snowdonia Marathon. November 93, the Everest Marathon. August 95, abseiled down a giant piece the size of Blackpool Tower. September 95, complete Olympic distance triathlon. March 96, firewalk over burning coals. April 96, London Marathon in polar expedition gear. May 1996, the Sahara Marathon disables 150-mile ultramarathon carrying all the equipment. Jan 96, October to Jan 96, 97, Scott to the South Pole, expedition to the South Pole. March 97, 125-mile Devisers to Westminster Canoe Marathon. July 97, the Fastnet Yacht Race. September 97, climbed Kilimanjaro on a llama.
No, someone hacked my...
Is that not a true one?
I did climb Kili, but not on a llama.
Right.
Llama's South America.
I was about to say, that was a bit mean on a llama. 135 mile Death Valley ultramarathon.
Yeah, that was quite tough, that one. Yeah.
Expedition to the North Pole.
Yep.
Feb 2001, I need a couple of years off there. Climbed Mount Aconcagua in Argentina. Aconcagua. Good God. Keep going. October 2001, 168 kilometre Jordan Desert Cup Ultra Marathon. Dressed as Indiana Jones, or have you been hacked again there?
Actually, no. Anyone that's seen The Last Crusade, it actually finishes at Petra in Jordan. So I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. So I thought it was, I thought it'd be quite funny to try and do it in fancy dress, which the fun lasted about a step actually, and then it was really quite funny at the start. Everyone was wearing this Cormax and Lycra, and there I was with like this hat, leather jacket, wool trousers and boots on. Like, it was like I'd been cut and pasted from another time and place and just plonked at the start of this race. Yeah.
Brilliant. April 2002, as we mentioned, the London Marathon in a deep-sea diving suit.
Was it 2002? Is it that? Blimey.
Yeah.
5 days, 8 hours, 29 minutes and 46 seconds to complete, which was then a world record, wasn't it, for the slowest marathon ever?
Yeah.
If that wasn't enough, you then done it in New York in the diving suit in November.
Yep.
And then you broke your world record by doing it in the deep-sea diving suit again at Edinburgh in June 2003, this time taking 6 days, 4 hours, 30 minutes and 56 seconds.
Yeah.
August 2003, completed the Marathon of Britain, 175-mile ultramarathon. September 2003, the Great North Run in the deep-sea diving suit. October 2003, the world's first underwater marathon in the deep-sea diving suit at Loch Ness.
Yeah, Yeah, that was interesting.
God, that must have been freezing, was it? Or were you snug in your suit?
I was fairly snug in my suit, but yeah, I think out of all of them, that's the one I kind of look back on and think, you know, really, what was I doing? It was at the time. It's obviously you know, all my energies were focused on doing it. I think not quite realising just how bizarre it actually really was. Yeah.
This next one's got to be someone's had a wind up again. First person to watch a film underwater in a tank in the London Aquarium.
I did that. Disney were launching the release of Finding Nemo on DVD, and they asked me would I actually go and sit in a tank in the London Aquarium and watch it. So yeah. So no, that's not a wind-up, that's true.
Brilliant. 2004 Sport Relief Challenge walked to the top of the BT Tower in deep-sea diving suit.
Yeah.
October to December 2004 cycled a penny farthing across Australia.
Yes.
Taking nearly 50 days.
Yep.
May 2005 swam from John O'Groats to Land's End in a swimming pool on the back of a lorry.
Yeah.
These are brilliant. These are brilliant.
Yeah.
September 2005 completed the Great North Run in Apollo 17 spacesuit on bouncy stilts.
Yes, that's right. It's my own version of the moonwalk. Yeah.
April 2006 completed the London Marathon of St George in a £100 suit of armour.
Oof.
Yeah, I was putting a dragon behind
it. That was £200.
Well. Yeah.
Just seeing if you remember that bit.
Yeah, it was a bit of a drag. Actually,
but you helped Sir Steve Redgrave break the world fundraising record of over 1.8 million.
That's right. Yeah. It was well worth it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Completed the London Marathon as Indiana Jones chased, but really pulling a 350-pound boulder.
Yeah.
Yes, that again was interesting. Yeah.
So this next one sounds rather tame compared to everything else, unless there's something that it's not telling us. Trek the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. Yeah,
that was quite. That was quite tame by comparisons. I made that with. I actually avoided bridges. I was like throwing my kit across rivers and just trying to wade across rivers just to make it a bit more exciting.
So before we bring you up to date with what you're going on, and looking down this list, I mean, it is quite amazing. What for you were the most, the ones that stick in your mind for being the most pleasurable or the most rewarding? What ones stick out for you down those years?
I suppose there's three really. As you've seen, I've kind of been all over the world. So one of them is the London Marathon in 2002, but not because of the coverage or anything like that, or the amount of money we raised. It was actually that, having been all around the world, that all my family and friends could actually be with me and kind of experience one of my events. I think at the time it started like 12 miles from my front door, so that meant a real lot for that particular reason. Probably the other one was, like I mentioned before, was the Loch Ness marathon, because again, you don't just have to come up with these silly ideas, you have to make sure they actually work, and that you're able to raise money on the back of it, and
avoid any monsters.
Avoid any monsters, yeah. So I think in terms of complete being like, unorthodox or bonkers or whatever you want to call it, getting that particular insane idea to actually happen, and it raised a lot of money for the Children of Leukemia charity. So that one, bringing it to realisation. And I think in terms of actual, I suppose, achievement or doing something I actually really didn't think I was going to be able to do at the start was cycling across Australia on the penny farthing, because the first few days, there was no way I was going to make it. My support team, I could tell they were thinking, he's not going to be able to do this, and I know they were thinking that because I was thinking the same thing myself.
They're not exactly comfortable, are they?
Sorry?
They're not exactly comfortable penny farthings, are they?
No, they're not. But so that was again not well, obviously there was a physical challenge behind it, but there was a real mental element to completing that one as well. So, yeah.
The one that's just popped up for me, it's local to me, is the Malden Mud Race in a diving suit. How did you get through that mud in a diving suit?
That was, yeah. Well, I was wearing I was wearing the deep sea diving suit for that, albeit not wearing the boots. But it was, I was so top heavy with the helmet. It was sank so deep into the mud. The funniest thing about that was the actual finish. I just couldn't get up to the final mud bank, and I had seven big guys. They put a rope around me as I laid on my back, and they literally dragged me across the finish line. And it was my most ignominious finish that I've managed. And there was like 2,000 people just all cheering as I got dragged across the mud and across the finish line. So
I think people have never seen the Malden Mud Race. It takes place every year in Malden, low tide. But you're literally, even if you do it in normal clothes, you're waist deep in mud, aren't you? Just thick mud.
Ooh.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lloyd, where did this all start? I mean, it's an incredible story of fundraising for charities. Where did it all start? Where did you get the idea, and why the ambitious ideas? I want to use. I wouldn't say crazy, but ambitious. Let's use that word. How did it all start?
So the real thing, really, I suppose, like I said before, I've always, I've done. I have done, a number of charity runs, and initially it started, my next door neighbour had a handicapped little boy, and I raised some money for his school to buy some equipment. So there was always, I'd like to think that sort of charitable side, but it was really when I was diagnosed with leukemia, and it wasn't just obviously raising the money. There was also that message with it. So when I did the marathon just before I had my bone marrow transplant, the idea behind that was to show people of survivor sufferers, from leukemia and cancer, that despite having a life-threatening illness, that one could still make the most of any situation. And then obviously when I did it the following year, it's to show people that these types of illnesses, could be overcome, because that's what I needed when I was diagnosed. So as well as the fundraising, there were these sort of messages that kind of went with it, and then, like I said, North Pole and South Pole, and then, like I said, the London Marathon, I suppose, was a pivotal moment that it kind of changed. It sort of changed that, and then, from then on, it wasn't just marathon after marathon. I did start thinking about, obviously, kind of mixing things up. So there was a bike ride, but it had to be a different type of bike, and obviously it was a marathon, but it was underwater marathon. So that was when I could really put on, the swimming pool on the back of the lorry and the bouncy stilts. I had to use a little bit of imagination to come up with these schemes.
How's your health these days?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good.
Could do with losing a bit of lockdown lard, to be honest.
Well, speaking of which, you have got a little project in the near future, which is going to make sure that you lose a bit of that, isn't there?
Yes. So this is why my the travelling Wheelsbridge end of the line was particularly sort of relevant for me. So I'm planning my last hurrah, which is to complete the Three Peaks Challenge. So that's going up Ben Nevis in Scotland, Scafell Pike, the tallest peak in England in the Lake District, and then finishing off getting to the summit of Snowdon. The caveat to that is obviously my good friend the deep sea diving suit will be accompanying me, and I'll be wearing that up all three peaks. Yeah.
And how long are we thinking this one's going to take?
We think probably about possibly 9 or 10 days. So we're banking on perhaps a couple of days for each of the peaks, and then it'll be a day's travelling in between times. So.
We're gonna get right behind you on this.
Right, okay. That's
and
great.
we're going to encourage all of our listeners to do the same. So obviously there's a web link that we can go to start the ball rolling on contributing and supporting you on this this charitable. So which charities are you doing this for?
Yes, I'm doing it for the Lord's Taverners. So it's a charity that I've been involved with for over the last 15 years now. So it does amazing stuff for disadvantaged and disabled children, and giving them an opportunity to be involved in sport. They do a number of different programs, one of which really is quite relevant recently, is about isolation. So there's a bit of a link between, obviously everything everyone's been through recently, and me, on my own in a deep-sea diving suit. I've got a support team, but once you actually go inside that helmet, you do feel pretty isolated. So, and the other thing is that when I actually had, when I had leukemia and I tried the bone marrow transplant, there was a period there where actually I couldn't play sport, and I realised just how much sport meant to me, and to think of young people who aren't going to have the opportunity, and the thrill and the excitement and learning new skills in playing sport. It's
you mentioned
everybody should have that chance. Yeah,
definitely. Now you mentioned sport, and given that we are a cricket show, and a little bit of research tells us that as a young man, you were, now do I get this right, you were on the ground staff at Lord's and you played schoolboy cricket for Essex?
Well, yeah, I wasn't on the ground staff. I wasn't good enough to be on the ground staff. But in between seasons that I played at Orient, I used to go down to Lord's and help out around the grounds, really. So, when there was test matches and the stewards were allowed to actually face the play, I was lucky to do that. But then I'd also sort of help sweep the stands. I worked on the grey skates, and during sort of a lunch hour, where the indoor cricket school is now at Lord's, was a car park, and we all used to go and play football there. So yeah, a good friend of mine, Nicky Hunt, who's just retired last year, I think, from being the year before.
Yeah, how long was he? He was groundsman there for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know, yeah. And we're still in touch with him. He's a fantastic character. So yeah, I used to do that, and then occasionally, I think when England played there, there was I used to bowl at the England players like Gooch and Botham and what have you. So that was quite nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think you've had the terrible displeasure of playing cricket with me at Thaden Boys as well, haven't you? A few times, way back.
Yeah, I was going to say, was I a sight screen? Like,
I've got a feeling you might have kept wicket to me.
No, I didn't think wicket. No, it must have been a side screen.
We definitely, I think we definitely played a couple of Sunday games here and there, or a Saturday game.
Yeah, quite probably.
You mentioned it there as well. You was a former pro footballer with Orient as well, wasn't you?
Yeah. I played at Orient, and then Watford and Blackpool, and then played at Dagenham when after I come back from Blackpool. Yeah.
So you did sort of say this is the last hurrah. Is there going to be no more challenges after this, or is it just no more challenges with the deep sea diving suit on?
Well, yeah, no, there's terms and conditions apply.
Never say never.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of me organising it, the Taverners have given me an enormous amount of support for this. I'm very lucky to have a cause that's prepared to back me and put that resource behind it. So, but in terms of me organising an event, I think this is like the last one. What might cause me a little bit of a moral dilemma is, if this is successful as we hope, if there's another charity or there's another cause, or somebody says, "Hey Lloyd, can you do this for us? And if you do this, it's going to raise £500,000 for some children or with cancer or something." I would have a real moral dilemma to actually turn that down, I think. But in terms of me organising something and instigating something, this is the end of the line now.
Well, we will, as I said, support you, and we will put the links to for people that want to donate. We will put those on our website and social media and our YouTube page, everywhere we can. Because we want to see this. I mean, the cause is fantastic. We're very close to the Lord's Taverns on this show.
We've actually got I've actually got a specially Lord's Taverns. I had one of my diving helmets actually painted up in their
Oh wow!
red, blue, and green stripes. So it's going to look quite comical going up the mountain with this.
Has that been done as yet?
Yeah, it's been done.
Oh,
yeah.
can you send me a picture of it and I'll put it on our?
I will do. I will do. It's in the process of just being. The stripes done. It's got to be like coated. It's got to be.
Oh right, okay.
But again, once that's
definitely when it's done.
Once that's done, I'll send you a picture of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So won't be missed on the mountain.
Lloyd, thanks for taking the time to join us.
My pleasure.
Good luck with it.
Yeah, we wish you very well.
We look forward to you completing it and get you on to afterwards to chat about it and how much fun it was or wasn't.
It'll be a success.
Always fun. Always fun.
All right.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Yeah, take care. Bye bye.
Okay.